All right. The house is now divided. 30-minute rivals. I got my Buckeyes on, you know what I mean? I see you with your blue and yellow, I guess.
That's maize and blue, fellas. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe here. If you're new to House Divided, 30-minute rival show. It is 30 minutes of Ohio State and the Michigan fans reviewing last week's game and the week to come. We're glad you're here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and come join us every. When do we do these now? Tuesdays
and
every Tuesday.
Saturdays, and
Yes,
Saturday
sir.
live stream.
Yep.
So, what do you want to
yeah.
do first? Do you want to do your game since your game was the big game of the week, or do we want to start off with the Buckeyes?
I mean, we're going to be talking a lot of Michigan because you guys have a bye this week, so
we do.
Feel free to go first.
Well, I mean, we played Western Michigan, so not much to see as far as any kind of pressure cooker. Really, we just kind of got out there, started scoring early, and kept moving. I mean, we moved so much that Devin Brown and Julian Sand got some playing time. Will Howard looked as good as I think he's going to look as far as confidence goes, as far as where I want him to be confidence-wise for when it comes to, the bigger games that we have this season, which we only have 3. I guess if you include Penn State. Penn State's been looking iffy, so there's that.
Bowling Green.
Feel
good about that one.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
The funny thing about us schedule wise is that it's an inverse of last year, where the early season for you guys is such a kind of preseason, fill it out. Let's see what we have. We can we can fill things out. We can play young guys in big moments and not really have to worry about whether or not it's going to affect the rest of the season if they perform or not. And man, I miss it already. Because definitely caught Texas at the most inopportune time probably in program history. But
literally,
in any case, Ohio State, yeah, like you said, got all over them early. I think that I don't know what they're going to be doing balance wise this year. I felt like it was going to be run heavy. Week 1 felt run heavy. This week felt like a heavy emphasis on throwing down the field early, at least.
Sure.
But we'll see how that checks out.
In this game, we definitely got a healthy dose of both Travion and Quinshon. I think,
for sure, because everything was working. Nothing was off the table, so it was very easy to call.
Yes,
I don't know if that means that Ohio State's going to have ultimate balance for the rest of the season, or if it's just what they look like versus Western Michigan. It's hard to call.
Very true.
But I mean, for what it was worth, they surely ran the ball better than they did in week 1. Quinshon Judkins most definitely looked better than he looked in week 1. Body language was much better. It's interesting you said Will Howard was as good as he's going to be as a passer. I didn't see what his numbers ended up being on Saturday, but did you see were there any like of those yips, any of those hiccup moments that he had in the first game?
Were
like head scratchers
in the first game. Me and Johnny discussed the fact that Will Howard had a huge one with, trying to toss the ball to Travion and
that's what I mean. Yes,
I don't think there was any like that. I don't know that Will Howard's where I want him to be exactly. I think confidence wise, getting closer to non-conference play, I think this is where I want him to be at week 2. And in fact, he's even exceeded where I thought he might be coming from the offseason. Stat wise, he gave us 18 for 26 for 292 and a touchdown. I think that touchdown was to Jeremiah.
Good day at work. It was a good day at work.
So yeah, definitely can't complain about any of that. He got taken out in the third quarter, so that's what we want. The thing that surprised me is that the run blocking was so great, and we still haven't gotten Donovan back. So like, the line is looking like they're improving. We still are going to need to see some improvements yet again, because we're going to see better teams: Oregon, Michigan, Penn State. But they looked ready to go. I've seen plays where holes were big enough to roll a fucking Mack truck through at times. And again, without our best linemen, I love seeing that. I absolutely love seeing that. And Jeremiah Smith is just a dog. And
Real deal.
That's Howard's favorite target to go to
Already.
But Egbuka is still getting his receptions too. So I can't really be mad at it. He even tried to throw it to Jelani Thurman a couple times. I was like, okay, we're seeing Jelani Thurman out there this early. That's what I want to see. That boy is a freshman, 6'5", and just towering over kids. So we can see him early on. I'm definitely happy for it. Brandon Ennis got some burn. Carnell Tate got some burn. Got some catches. Look, everything that I wanted to see from the offense, especially the things that I didn't get to see from the offense in the Akron game, I got to see in spades in this game. So I'm definitely happy from an offensive standpoint. Defense, Denzel Burke got taken out pretty early due to a targeting call that wasn't even targeting.
Oh,
shit happens. But Igbinosun came to play. Hancock came to play. Some of the other DBs in the back came to play. Downs is out there catching guys right at the line from the safety position. I couldn't be happier with the play that I saw from the defense. Cody Simon finally got his first game in there. That guy's a stud. I'm happy. I'm happy from the fact that we get to see Cody Simon and Sonny Styles all season. Two elite athlete linebackers for this year, at least. Definitely excited to see how that's going to pan out for the rest of the year. Arvell Reese. I shouldn't be saying Arvell Reese's name before I say CJ Hicks, but Arvell Reese looks like he's going to be a guy who's going to get some rotation, and you're going to hear his name throughout the season. So happy about that. Happy about how Jack Sawyer played. JT's name wasn't said too often. It was a lot more of Jack Sawyer in the defensive tackles, but hey, I can't be mad at that defense at all, especially when you lose a guy like Denzel Burke. It's Western Michigan, so there's not really much.
I'm just trying to, let it all rain down. You guys,
it's Western Michigan, so there's not much I can say, but like I was happy to see certain things that I didn't see in the Akron game. Aaron Scott got a deflection. Okay. All right. I see what we're doing. Definitely happy to see the depth that we have at pretty much every position, except linemen. But literally every other position, we got a lot of depth. So I'm happy to see that. Happy to see how it's going to pan out for the rest of the season. It is only Western Michigan, but we've seen some things that we didn't see against Akron.
I will tune in on who was the first team you guys played? Wisconsin? The first real team. Is it Wisconsin or Michigan State? Maybe
I think it's Michigan State.
Michigan State's not a real team, so I mean real team. So probably Wisconsin.
Real team, Wisconsin, I think.
Okay, so I'll tune in on Wisconsin and see what's shaking. My turn.
Michigan State. No, it's Iowa, I guess. Iowa.
Oh, okay. That'll be a matchup. That'll be a matchup for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Iowa. I will tune in for the Buckeyes Hawkeyes matchup for sure. Is that in Des Moines or is that in?
Looks like it was in Ohio State or in Columbus.
Was in Columbus? Okay.
Yeah. But we played Western Michigan, so it doesn't really mean as much. And we've got a bye week, so we're just going to be resting. The rest of the show is yours, man.
All right. God damn it. Okay. So first and foremost, shouts out to Texas for doing to Michigan what Michigan has been doing to teams here over the last couple of 3 years. It happened in all three phases, man. They had a punter. Texas had a damn punter. Like that's how thorough the game was for them. I think that this was the worst possible time for Michigan to catch a team like Texas. Texas looks like a national title contender. The thing that hurts about that is, as good as they were and as efficient as they were, and how they took advantage of just a lot of guys not being where they need to be, guys not reading their keys the way that they should be, guys thinking too much and not reacting, making a play. And that's just on defense. I haven't even begun to talk about the debacle that is our offense.
Yeah.
But defensively, I think that after I talked on the call-in show on Johnny Owen's channel, you guys go over there and follow him as well. Watched a little bit of Monday Morning Quarterback. Love that. Love the arrangement of those two shows, by the way, because I just get to say the real on Sundays, and then I get, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. What they just supposed to do? Just play Origin? What you think they just sitting them on the bench for no reason? and then we get former Michigan great record holder for most passing yards in the game. Former NFL player, Devin Gardner, and he's saying the same shit I just said on Sunday. So go argue with him. Don't try me. Try a former Michigan quarterback. Okay, we'll get to offense in a second. A lot of things about this Raven defense are about misdirection, about showing one thing, doing the other. He actually, I was saying before the internet cut out that I had time after the call out show to kind of watch some film breakdowns and see, get some different opinions on what people saw. We actually played a lot of zone. We did a lot of showing 7 and then dropping or only bringing 4. Played a lot of zone. The problem was that guys weren't where they needed to be. First touchdown, Jair Hill is covering what ends up being a post corner when he should be carving the over. Don't really know whether or not he's in man or zone there, but he realizes it too late, and that's how the tight end sneaks in there in between him and Makari Page. On the reverse touchdown, like there's just no there's no threat from the edge defender there to that play at all, and our pursuit it's just our pursuit is slow. We're thinking, we're looking. There was so much misdirection and motion going on with Texas's offense, and we fell for a lot of eye candy, man.
They got a lot of weapons.
Yeah, I mean, and they're good. And I don't want to understate how good they are. It's just not a team you want to face when you don't have your shit together. When things are together. Now, I am not as hyperbolic as some of our fan base. I'm not ready to check the box on 7-5. I don't think the sky is falling in week 2. We got a lot of season. If the season is over today because of this loss in week 2, then we probably shouldn't have hired the staff than we got. If it's that doom and gloom this early, we just got to have more resolve, man. I think people got a little bit used to winning all the damn time and that being the norm and forgetting what it's like to lose a game. So I even myself had to decompress from that a little bit, probably defended Wink a little bit too much. But at the same time, I felt like the players also needed some increased responsibility, right? Because maybe there is schematics for missing a guy backside when you're the front side backer and the back leaks out that way, but you're responsible for covering that guy because of how Wink schemed it up. Cool. Mason Graham, if he got you sitting out on the edge playing DN on 3rd down and they run right away from you. Hey, look, okay. All right. Cool. There really there's no coaching for, hey, come to balance and tackle. There is no coaching for use the sideline as a defender and push that man to the boundary. Other than that is the coaching point. That is it. Yeah. Right. These players know that. They're experienced. They have done it. We've seen them do it. It's a matter of meshing what they do well with this current defensive coordinator. And I don't know if it was necessarily fair of us to think that it would be seamless between the coordinators. I think there was always going to be an adjustment period. We all kind of felt like, or I think a lot of fans felt like it would be a little bit more cookie cutter because of who it was in the system. But it's a completely different guy, right? And as much grace as you would give a player for learning a new system, I think you have to give the coach a little bit of grace of learning his personnel. He's met most of these guys like 6-7 months ago. And this is the first fire test that he's had to really show what he can do, right? First test was a fail. Fortunately enough for us, this isn't the last test of the season, so we can check it in and act like our season is over, like most of the chatters and most of the message room guys. Or you can nut check and get it together. Now, that's just the defense. On the offensive side of the ball, we are coming very closely to a crossroads. And I kind of felt like this was going on already. There was some chatter about it on the call on Sunday that maybe there was something going on in the locker room about, guys wanting to see Orji give it a chance. Here's what I'll say about that. They're at a crossroads because they're in the middle of, if we don't see what he has now against Arkansas State, then we're pretty much committing to Davis Warren going forward, because now it's about getting Davis Warren reps because we think he can be better long term.
Yeah.
If you do that, Alex Orji, I believe I would suggest him leave.
He might as well. Everybody knows it's a run play when he checks in. So
it's not even that, right? If they're not even going to see if you're better in-game action against a mid-major team, in a recovery week, then then the only thing that's going to do it is if he plays like too bad to be playing on TV, or he gets hurt, which is a bad situation for me because that could come at any point in the season at which I have no chance of getting any type of real momentum.
Absolutely.
If there is a chance that Alex Orji may be the guy, and let me just take his name off of it. Let's say Jaden Denigal. Let's say Jack Tuttle, because Sharon apparently was talking about Jack was going to throw this week. Okay, whoever, if you think for a reason that it may not be Davis Warren, which God Jesus, I think we all know that it may not be Davis Warren, you have to use this week to see what you have beyond Davis Warren, right? Following week, we got USC. We are going to need to have a clear game plan of how to attack USC. I don't think that they're Texas, but they present some of the similar problems that Texas presents, right?
Absolutely.
Personnel-wise, how they're going to play tempo-wise, the things that they're going to do to Michigan to try to get them off balance. Script is out, right? We are going East and West versus Michigan. We're going East and West, and we're not going to tip our hat which direction we're going. We're going to fake like we're going one way, we're going around the other. We're going to force them to play discipline and play sideline to sideline for 4 quarters. And if we can't begin to get teams behind the chains and keep them there, because we did do that against Texas at times, we were able to get them behind the chains a few times. We just couldn't get off the field on third down. And that is one of the more baffling things. I don't know whether or not to blame that more on the players or the coaching, because I feel that's both. Number one, you have to call a scheme that's competent enough to get your team off the field on third down. You cannot consistently give up 3rd and 20s. That's not I don't want to see that again. I'm going to grab a pitchfork if I see that shit again. At the same time, you also cannot get mossed or routed up on 4th or 3rd and 20 either.
Absolutely.
You also cannot lose contain or lose eye of the flat on 3rd down and let a swing pass continue the drive. Because again, that's not a whole lot of schematic. That is just see ball, get ball. If that's your problem, right? There's got to be a lot of self-reflection on this team after this week for everybody, head coach on way down.
Yeah.
Everybody has to have a lot of self-reflection.
In the offseason, you guys have made it pretty easy to want to be petty. I mean, I am a little petty here, but if I can offer some light at the end of the tunnel for you guys, at least for the next couple of weeks, you've got to figure out that offensive problem. The good thing is, first of all, I've seen a lot of Michigan is ass. We all know that.
Wait till we play your team. Wait till we get our hands on you, Stady. Wait till I don't give a shit if we got to win that game 8-7. We're gonna beat you for sure.
Are we talking about Michigan State?
Yes. There were Sparty fans all over the place, just grinning ear to ear. There were enough Buckeyes as well. But it's the audacity of a program in the state of what they are currently going forward or in recent history to be talking out of the side of their neck is just egregious.
Crazy. I'll agree with that. Yeah, you guys have got to figure out the offensive problem, and I don't really know how you do it, considering it's a quarterback issue for the most part.
Well, here's a problem.
Or you can get it done.
It's not about Alex Orji. Let's I know that I have seemed like I am in favor, and I am in favor of the guy, but I'm not. It's not because I am like this undying fan. It is what I have been able to ascertain from what we've seen so far. Right? What are our problems? Well, number one, there is no room for anything. We are running into loaded boxes. People are walking up corners and safeties on our wide receivers. Everything is hard right now.
Yeah.
Everything's hard. What are we not doing well? Well, we're not good in gap scheme at the moment, right? I don't know whether or not that is a coaching thing or if that is a personnel thing. I guess we'll try to sort that out this week. And we're not good throwing the ball downfield. Not that we aren't good, as in we just literally do not do it. The quarterback that we have currently will not throw the ball beyond the first down marker.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where we're at. Loaded boxes, pressure on the running game and the pass catchers because they don't have a chance to create separation. I hear a lot of, oh, well, our receivers don't get separation. I am going to continue to ask somebody to clip me out something. Show me the all 22 footage that you all are watching where Davis Warren is giving guys opportunities to break away downfield and catch the ball. Show me those cut-ups. Show me, first of all, give me your all 22 login because I, you know what I'm saying, I would love to use that for some things, for some content and things. Second of all, give me cut-ups. Just show it to me. See, I'm not going to do. I don't want to go back and forth about narratives, right? Because we can sit up here and we can yell narrative stuff back at each other all the time. Oh, Davis Warren is slow and he sucks. Oh, Alex Orji can't throw a pass. And the reality is the two crowds saying that have never been to practice. They can barely reference what happened in the spring game because it dispels both of those narratives. And then they're not actually watching cut-ups or a film of the entire offense. They're watching TV copies one time live and then saying things like that, making broad proclamations. So again, if you got some cut-ups of Davis Warren throwing the ball downfield where he's giving wide receivers chances to catch the ball and there's no separation, I'll welcome them. We'll post them. But I haven't seen that to a degree enough to make a determination on the wide receivers. Same thing can be said about Davis and his pocket presence because we haven't seen consistent enough pass protection, and it was good at some times. We were better than probably what was portrayed in the media and on the beat after the game, but it's not consistent enough for you to say whether or not, all right, is this a guy who's playing confidently? Because every other play it's breaking down.
Yeah.
So personnel on the offensive line or the scheme on the offensive line, there's no pressure to back defenses up. We have no threat to move safeties out of the box right now. What are some of the things that you can do to alleviate that? Well, you can start chucking the ball downfield. Well, Davis Warren doesn't want to do that, or he just doesn't do it at a very high level right now. Are you going to take the risk that he is going to develop that in the season with more reps? Or do you give someone else a chance and see if they're doing it more now, which would give that person a better chance of being better at it towards the end of the season, right? Another thing, in the run game, if people are adding an extra defender to the box in the run game, you balance that out by adding an extra runner. Who's your extra runner? The quarterback, right? Because even if you're trying to convince me that Davis Warren is somewhat mobile and he can get out of the pocket, then he should be able to pick up 5 on his own read if he's reading it correctly. He should be able to do that. Balance the box. Use things to balance the box. If you're not going to do RPO, if you're not going to halo bubble screen them to death to get them away from the line of scrimmage, then at least that way keeps the physical nature of the offense that you want to have. It allows you to continue to possess the ball, which keeps the opposing offense off the field, which is what you want this year more of any other year. And it also gives you a chance to create explosives off of that. If you have something consistently working on offense, it forces the defense to adjust. Now we are leveraged. Now we are at a disadvantage because we're doing something to acquiesce what they're giving us. At that point, we're vulnerable. We have nothing to make the defense vulnerable right now. So, quite frankly, and I respect a lot of people's opinions on this, Davis Warren, Alex Orji, Jaden Davis, even people calling for Jaden Davis, even though I think that's a little bit of a pipe dream. I don't think that's going to happen, but I understand the haste. The problem is that who of those names gives us one of those things, whether it's the deep passing, whether it's the RPO game, or whether it's zone read on some of these running plays, so that now there is a counter to the safety flying down to the line of scrimmage. Who gives you any of those things? Because I'm trying to tell you guys, as I see it, even if Davis Warren is a 70% passer this season, it's not going to do us any good. It's not going to do us any good. The way he's playing now. If he becomes a different player amidst the season, I guess it's not unheard of, but that's just not the way things tend to go, right? The tendencies that he has now have been built up through the years of playing in the offseason, in the spring, and what have you, right? He is who he is as a player. So if he has a real chance at changing something of this, number one, is going to happen earlier in the season. And then it's more likely to happen in the offseason when he has a chance to concentrate on these weaknesses that he's established. So who helps you now? Are you going to use the season to try to make Davis Warren a better passer? Or are you going to use one of the other quarterbacks to try and compensate what you're missing in your run game so that the quarterback matters less? So that all of a sudden a 60, what is Davis Warren? Hold on. He's 63.8% is what he is right now.
So far this year.
Yeah, right. 63.8% is what he's throwing, which is not, it's not great. It's not abysmal either, right? The problem that I have with Davis Warren, and the reason why I don't think, even if he gets marginally better, it's still going to be a good thing for us to have Davis starting. Average per attempt, 5.6. 5.6. He's throwing distance-wise half a first down every time he drops back. So at that point, yeah, you got to be 70, 80% to look like you're anything.
Yeah.
Now this is starting to kind of weigh itself out in my mind, what may have happened there, right? With Sharon in his quarterback battle. I think he thought he had something, and he kind of got fooled into thinking he had it with the last week of practice. That is why, again, I'm not a head coach. I've never worked in college football. I know enough about football that most head coaches stop their competition before you start game planning for an opponent, because now we're giving starters reps to rep the plays that we plan for this team. That is not a clear indicator necessarily of which guy is going to be better for you throughout the season. So if a guy was better for you, you probably should stick with him. Those last minute changes. And you don't believe me? Look at the last minute change at center. Tell me that you've been looking at the line for the last 2 weeks and you think that Dom Judice plays better than Greg Crippen. That was another one of those last minute changes. I still have faith in Evan Link, but it's hard for me to believe that either Jeff Percy or Andrew Gentry would be getting whipped physically the way that Evan Link is. And I'm not mad at Evan Link because he played good at Fresno State and because it doesn't look like he's messing up schematically. It looks like he's losing physical battles to older players.
And Judice had a couple of penalties, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's only about like 6'1.5", maybe. So he's the most diminutive size on the line. But you would think that would give him great leverage. And so far, I haven't seen him play with great leverage. He plays really high. It tends to get him knocked back. I just don't think you get those type of small detail type errors from a guy who's been playing behind NFL caliber centers for the last 3 years. You know, I don't know, but I don't know. And I'm not going to make, again, I'm not the guy to make broad proclamations. I'm just saying, I think there are fixes on this roster for the issues that we have. You do that. Now the safeties take a step back. Now they're not flooding the box. Now, all of a sudden, the 5 yards of carry you were getting from Donovan on Saturday actually means something.
Sure.
Right? Now we can keep running the ball. Now, the near shutout that the defense pitches in the second half save you the long reverse from Ryan Wingo when we lose contain. If it's not for that play, man, we pitch a shutout. Miss me with they took the foot off the pedal in the fourth quarter. Michigan was close to shutting Texas out in the third quarter. So in closing, for Arkansas State, things that I would like to see cleaned up. Let's see if Sherrone Moore is actually going to make some personnel changes. I think there are some that are warranted. I think it's very telling if we come out and nothing has changed at any position. Right tackle, center, any of the guards, quarterback. We haven't tried anything new. That's concerning. Limit explosives on defense. You are good enough to get teams behind the chains. Keep them there. And coordinator-wise, simplify defensively. Simplify. Offensively, you need to create the fuck up. I'm infinitely more tired of Kirk Campbell than I am of Wink Campbell right now. And I won't choose this week because I promise you I wouldn't be hyperbolic. In the weeks to come, I want to see some improvement is what I would like to see as a Michigan fan.
My question to that is, you have Arkansas State, but then it's literally USC right after that.
Which, again, tough matchup. Elite offense, a team that doesn't really care too much about time possession. So they're going to be all too willing to give us the ball. We have to be smart enough to hold it. Got to be smart enough to hold it. So Texas, or I think Michigan did a good job in the first half against Texas, I guess in retrospect, in the second half as well. But especially in the first half when things were really terrible, of limiting Texas in bad situations. It's just the point that if you get 2 opportunities in the red zone per half as opposed to 4, right? And 2 of those 4 were due to the offense either getting a quick 3 and out on you and then them getting a nice little punt return, or one of your best offensive players straight up fumbles the ball in your own territory. See, now it was 14-3, and we were getting ready to get our ass in the half. It was ticking under 5 minutes. And then all hell breaks loose, and we make a couple offensive mistakes, have a couple bad series. We put the defense in terrible position. They give up a touchdown and a field goal. 14-3 is a competitive game still. 24-3 is insanity. Limit explosives. We'll talk about USC when USC is an issue, right? This week we got Arkansas State, so let's clean that up. Right, but enjoy your bye.
I will. My guys are going to get rested. Travion already looks amazing, so imagine him with a week of rest.
Oh, he looks amazing. Anywho, we got some football to play this weekend, so you make sure you show up for the Big at 11 college football kickoff show. That'll be live this weekend, either with myself and Johnny Oden or Josh and Johnny Oden. We'll be doing all the Big Ten games. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Come back next week for another 30-minute rival session where we do Ohio State and Michigan games the week before and the week coming up. Stick with us. More things to come.
Absolutely. And make sure, like you said, make sure you subscribe. We will be covering the rivalry all season long.